Now, same thing, we have to, whatever we do to one part, we have to do to this section, and this section. So I need to get this x by itself. In order to get that x by itself, then the opposite of dividing, because remember a fraction bar represents division, is multiplying. So I'm going to divide. I'm going to multiply by 2, and I'm going to put that in a different color, just because. Uh, so what I'm going to do is, actually no, I'm not going to write it in a different color. I'm going to rewrite this. So I'm going to say 1/4 is less than 2x minus 7 divided by 2 is less than 5. Okay, so I use the different color here. So I'm going to multiply by 2. So there I'll put times 2 times 2, and then we'll put this one on the left side. So I multiply by 3 in all three places. Now, when I multiply by 2 in the middle, I'm left with just 2x minus 7. Okay, I bring down my inequality symbol. 2 times 1/4 is actually 1/2. Okay, so 2 times 1/4 is 2 over 4, which is 1/2. And then over here, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, now remember, we still have to get the x by itself. So first I need to eliminate this subtraction. So the opposite of subtracting 7 is adding 7. So I'm going to add 7. Let's do a different color again. I'm going to add 7 here. I'm going to add 7 there. And I'm going to add 7 there. Ooh, yes. I got to add a fraction and a whole number. So let's do the middle, because that's going to probably be the simplest part. So here I'll have 2x, because the 7's cancel, is less than 17. Now 1/2 plus 7 is actually 1/2 plus 14 halves. So that looks like this: 1/2 plus 14 over 2, which is 15 over 2. Okay, so I have 15 over 2 there, and now I need to divide by 2 to get rid of that 2 in the middle. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2, because remember, whenever you see a coefficient right next to a variable, that means multiply. So here, let's do here first. So 17 over 2 is just 17 over 2. Here I'm going to have just x, because those cancel. And then here, 15 over 2 divided by 2 is going to be interesting. So what it looks like is actually 15 over 2 times 1/2. Because remember, you have to keep the first fraction, divide, and multiply. Or keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, and then take the reciprocal of this 2. So that ends up being 15 times 1/2, which is 15 over 4. Okay, so your final answer actually is x is between 15 over 4 and 17 over 2. Now you can change these to mixed numbers, but by the time you get to this level, you're going to be working with improper fractions. So if it makes you feel better, this is 3 3/4 is less than x, which is less than 8.5. Okay, so x is between 3 3/4 and 8.5, and it's important that you get those values proper, or make them. It's important that you get these values correct, because there's going to be a difference. The 3 3/4 and the 8.5, they're not included in our answer. So if we were to graph this, what it looks like is this, and I'm just going to put those two fractions. I'm just going to say 3 3/4, and then I'm going to say 8.5. Now, open circle on both of those, but x is between these two. Okay, so remember, we have that compound inequality with and it's going to shade in the middle. Okay, so very, very important that you make sure that when we look at these values, one way to check to see if your inequality is correct is to actually take a value here in this region that's shaded and plug it into your original equation. And so if I was to plug in 3 3/4 or 8.5, I would not get a balanced inequality. Okay, but if I was to take like 4 or 8, it would work out.